4,16,755 crore dollars or $4 trillion and above. Friends, that is the size of India's economy today. We are now the world's fourth largest economy. And in just few days, we will knock Germany down. India will rise to become the third largest economy in the world. But here's the twist in the story. Despite having such a massive economy, India doesn't have even one global brand to show off. The American semiconductor giant NVIDIA has now hit a jaw-dropping $4 trillion in valuation. Yes, you heard that right. $4 trillion. That's an empire worth nearly entire GDP of India. One single chip maker now equals the value of the world's fourth largest economy. The economy of a country which has population of 1.4 billion people. On the other hand, Japan has Sony, Suzuki. South Korea has Samsung, Hyundai. Germany has Mercedes, Volkswagen Group. These countries have their proud brand flags flying across the globe. But India, no MNC that the world can instantly identify as, see, the Indian brand. In the list of world's top 100 companies, not a single one is from India. What is the reason behind this, friends? Why hasn't this economic superpower or economic emerging superpower given birth to a single global brand? Why haven't our business giants like Reliance and TATA become world famous names? How crucial are global brands for a country to be recognized as a soft power? And what must Indian companies do to conquer global markets? Let's unpack this mystery. Let's talk about India's greatest branding crisis in today's video. Soft power, the secret weapon of a nation. A global brand is not just a famous private company. It carries much more. Trust, quality, reliability, innovation. Think Apple, Google, Toyota. Anywhere on the planet, people buy their products with eyes closed. Why? Because they know what they're getting for the money. Take Swiss watches. For example, brands like Rolex sell tiny timepieces for crores of rupees, for millions of dollars. Even in India, companies like Titan and HMT make automatic watches, but their prices rarely go beyond 20,000 rupees or about $300. In fact, most people stop considering them once the price crosses above that range. Why such a huge difference in pricing power? One reason, that is brand power. Even Japan has luxury watch brands like Seiko, but Indian brands still can't match the pricing power or global perception of even Japanese brands. Now think about this. Why is the quality of an iPhone the same whether you buy it in Tokyo or Toronto? Why does KFC in Delhi serve the same standard of chicken as KFC in Dubai? How does McDonald's manage to maintain consistent quality in every part of the world? How and why? The answer again is clear. Global brands follow strict quality, consistency, and trust standards. That is what makes them global and powerful. This is why, even with dozens of options, 80% of people choose global brands. But that brand power doesn't just benefit the company. It boosts the soft power of the country it comes from. Just like Swiss reminds you of Swiss watches, German makes you think about automobile engineering, Japan rings the bell of technology. That is soft power, built over decades by the brands of these countries. It doesn't stop there. Brands also spread a nation's culture, identity, and values. Take the finger heart gesture for example. It became a universal symbol of love because Korean pop and films made it so. Global brands are not just businesses. They are diplomatic soldiers without passports. They carry the pride of an entire nation. Boosters of economy. Yes, soft power is just one part. Global brands are also economic engines. One giant company can fuel an entire economy. They bring export revenue, they bring foreign exchange, high-paying jobs and global investments. For example, take Samsung. It contributes 13% to the GDP of South Korea. Yes, one company, 13% of a country's entire economy. Without Samsung, South Korea might still be just another third world country. Samsung can be considered as a separate government which employs 18% of South Koreans. It brings in $13 billion in revenue. That's not a brand, it's a national asset. But in India, we lack in this. We have no global brand that acts like a jet engine for our economy. India's brand famine. 1.4 billion people. A massive market. The world's largest youth workforce. Still, India is facing a brand famine. Check this report. Interbrand, a company that ranks the world's best global brands, released a list of top 100 global companies. America, it has over 50 brands in the list. China, it has 20. Even Taiwan, which is not even recognized as a full country by the most of the world, has a global brand. ASUS, it's a Taiwanese brand. But India, not even one. In IT and services, India is strong. Infosys, Wipro, TCS, sure, they have made a name, but these are not consumer-facing product brands. The average person on street doesn't know them. These names are only familiar in business circles. Even the mighty TATA and Reliance, despite their billions in net worth, have failed to become global household names. But why? The socialist setback. Let's rewind the tape. One major reason is India's socialist past. We cannot ignore history before 1991 because there wasn't much of a free market before that. The economy was closed. Foreign companies were not allowed in. The government ran the businesses. They manufactured everything from footwear to cars to watches, controlled everything from banks to insurance. So there was no competition, no innovation. It was like a classroom with no exams. So nobody studied. Meanwhile, in Japan and in South Korea, they were sprinting ahead in this game. They followed export-led growth. That's when giants like Honda and Samsung were born. India joined in this race 5 decades later after everybody ran far ahead. The service sector trap. Even after economic liberalization, India didn't focus on manufacturing. We poured all energy into the service sector. Yes, we became IT kings, outsourcing lots. But there also we are doing labor arbitrage. Labor is expensive in America and Europe, but in India we get the same work done at much lower wages. That is what we are doing honestly. And we ignored consumer products, the kind of brands that people touch, feel and experience. And remember, Apple and Nestle became consumer giants. But we didn't try to build similar companies here in India. Our IT firms remained stuck in B2B services. We never tried to build product empires like Google or Apple. We had brands like Oneida and Videocon once, but when the economy opened in 1991, they couldn't survive the invasion of Japanese and Korean brands. They simply couldn't compete and vanished from the battlefield. Some merged into the new entrants. The missed opportunity. Another big problem is our companies don't invest in branding and marketing much. In India, branding is treated like a gift wrapping, something optional and decorative. Design and marketing are afterthoughts here. There is a mindset of if it looks okay, that is enough. So no focus on user experience, no investment in UX design or brand identity. Tata and Reliance, they have the power and potential to become global giants. They have deep pockets, but even they didn't give branding that much of importance. When Tata's bought global brand Jaguar and Land Rover JLR, they didn't even add their name into that. They were scared that it might dilute the brand value and heritage of JLR. It might scare off customers. But imagine if it was named Tata Jaguar or Tata Land Rover, would it really hurt the brand? Likely not. It would have actually elevated the brand value of Tata. It would only tell the world this is Indian. The government's role. Now the private companies are not the only entities to be blamed here. What has governments done? That's a bigger issue. The government has mostly done nothing. After liberalization, it should have built policies that push companies toward quality and competition, but instead it sat back and watched. They resorted into protectionism. Even today, when it comes to intellectual property, India has very weak rules. Fake products are everywhere. You have surely seen Puma or Pama or Adibas, these kind of fake brands on shelves. Once upon a time, there was Nokia for Nokia. Because of this, Indian products struggle with quality and trust. Look at our pharma industry. Because Indian pharma companies focused on quality, they have now gained a solid global reputation. But this kind of growth hasn't happened in electronics or automobiles. Of course, Tata and Mahindra are trying for their level best. Mahindra's recent SUVs like Scorpio and XUV700 and recently launched these Born Electric range. These products are now leaving their tire marks on international markets, including Australia. Mahindra's Born Electric EVs are being appreciated globally, but that's not enough. There is need for much aggressive approach because even Mahindra is dependent on other countries for crucial components including batteries. If Mahindra is doing good enough cars, BYD is also doing and they're competing like hell. So it is not enough if the government just chants Make in India. You ask them how to sell Indian products abroad, there is no clear plan. They don't offer proper export incentives either. The tax officers in India doesn't even let business to operate normally. Also, many Indian companies, Tata, Reliance, Mahindra, are still run as a family-owned empires. And in such a corporate culture, nobody wants to take big risks. The focus is always on short-term profits and wealth preservation, not long-term global vision. The roadmap to Indian brand. So how can India create global brands now? Invest in quality and innovation. Without world-class quality, there is no global brand. That is for sure. And tighten quality standards because bad products kill trust. Strong standards build it. Focus on product design. A good product is not enough. It must look and feel great to customer. Shift energy from services to manufacturing. Make things the world can touch and buy and experience. Leverage the Indian diaspora abroad. Millions of NRIs can promote Indian products globally. Target the right markets. Look for countries with young, brand-hungry consumers where local competition is weak. Make the government a facilitator, not just a regulator. Subsidize international marketing. Make it easier for companies to get funding to expand abroad. This is not just about building companies. This is about building brand India. And until we do that, we will remain a giant without a name in the global marketplace. The economy may be big, but without a global identity, India's true power remains unseen. Indian talent will continue to drain to high-paying nations like United States, Singapore, Europe, UAE, etc. India will remain a third world country which cannot grow even with all these resources. And India's per capita GDP. We show exuberance that we are a $4 trillion economy. We have beaten England, we have beaten Japan, next Germany. So much of exuberance. But what about per capita GDP? How rich are Indians? $4 trillion GDP, yes, but for 1.4 billion people. Look at the population. Divide that $4 billion by this 1.4 billion population. You will get the per capita GDP, which is very, very low. We are a poor country, not even middle class country fully. So, if you want to uplift the per capita income of Indians and make them rich, you need big global brands. Friends, what is your thoughts on this? Please let us know your opinion on the comment section below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and especially please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Let's meet again. Namaste.